Hi, here's Julie for a new episode, and today I would like to come back on talking about what I was sharing in the first episode regarding the universe bringing you exactly everything that you need and that nothing will ever bypass you. And I just wanted to talk about this because I'm still on the same day of this vulnerable time that I was sharing. And it was so interesting because I decided to go on a walk with my puppy. And I always have an insight of where I need to go. And so this time I had two places and I decided to be like, okay, let's go to the dog park. While I was going down the hill, I can see the dog park and I could see there was kids. And as my puppy is still training with kids, I knew that was not the place to be. And then I was like, well, I'm not close to the other side, the other walk that I had in mind. So another walk popped in. And that walk, really interestingly enough, is in the bush. And because it was a sunny afternoon, I was not looking forward to be in the bush. I just wanted to enjoy the sun. But anyway, I thought, let's do that. It seems that the universe is willing you to go in that hike. And also, I wanted to work on flat. I have been having a bit less energy the last few weeks, with all the change. And I think my body is readjusting to everything moving around. And the load of work is more because I'm one person. And I know a lot of you who are single up there will be like, yeah, I do everything myself and it's all good. I do a lot myself. But yeah, here there is little things, that sometimes, your partner do or your friend do. And so I thought that the load of work also have increased. So I thought I had a bit less energy to hike. But anyway, this hike is quite a big one in the sense that it's quite steep. And but I went for it. So I started. And as I started, I had all those very intrusive thoughts. Are you alone in the bush? What will happen? What if there is someone? And you know where that goes. And then as I went along, my mind was telling me that I was not going to go to the top of it because of that fear that was highlighted. And then I passed a point where I was like, no, actually, I can walk the whole way through. And at the top of it is the light and is the sun. And obviously, you're here for a reason. And as I was walking, there was some things that came up to me very strongly again, is that when we are in that state where everything crumbles, where we feel vulnerable, where we feel that everything is challenging, we feel horrible inside and we just want to hide. And somehow we forget the only things that help us to go through those moments. And for me, it always had been the bush. It is always been the place where I feel I belong. It is the place I feel I'm connected to everything. It is the place where I usually get download that I can share with humanity. And here I was, and I was walking up the hill, and each step, each sweat, I was like reminding me I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, and the universe brought me here for a reason. So, this is again a reminder that no matter where we are and how much experience we have had with our life changing, drastic change, transformation, evolution, death, rebirth, grief, even if we are so used to, even me as a holistic counselor who teach that to my client, here I forgot again for myself what was the best self-care that will get me through what I needed to go through today. But you know what? The universe didn't let me down. It didn't bypass me. It came right there at the right moment when I needed it the most. And I found that really fascinating because this applies to everything in our life. At the moment, we feel completely lost, where we don't see the road ahead, which has been the case for me lately, And that is because I have been on a massive healing journey for now more than, yeah, 10, I would say 10 years, but it's been longer than that, but really drastically, probably 10 years. And I teach this to everyone around me, and I still, even if I know deep down within me, I still need to be reminded. I still need this nudge from the universe to tell me, hey, that's the direction. And also, this feeling of death and rebirth, it's, I think, a very hard one, but a very beautiful one. It's like the caterpillar in its chrysalis, and then it needs to break through. And at that moment, you have to remember that when the caterpillar is transforming into a butterfly, and the butterfly is trying to get out of the chrysalis, if anything come to help it to come out of this chrysalis, it might be this form, and it might not actually fully be ready to come out. So sometimes we do need to be alone. Sometimes we need to find this moment of darkness where there is nothing ahead, where we find our way, because that is where we find our power within ourselves. And yes, help need to be there, but sometimes we also need to find the journey on our own while having all of pillar of light around us. And I'm a holistic counselor. I help people, and I do have the people that help me around me. I need help to help others, and everyone need. I feel that every therapist need to have supervision and be supported on the journey, because we don't need to hold the world by ourselves. We are a team. We work together. And so, yes, there is this breakthrough. And like me today, I needed to get myself out of where I was without anyone telling me where to go and how to get there. And here I was finding my way out of the darkness. And I know this is a small example, but this can happen in so many ways in our life, So this is my experience today. And I know often the way I share my story is always with a smile on my face, because I always try to see not just the positive side of it, but what am I learning in this moment that is going to be for my greatest good. But I can tell you, when I am in it, I'm not always talking like this. But here I am, and that's the message that is coming out for you today. And so, as I was walking this path, I was feeling every part of me. And yes, I was sitting in my vulnerability. I was sitting in the face of what was challenging for me, but not as a victim anymore. As a person who actually was walking through the path to find a way toward myself again. It's like I was giving myself a hand. And so when I came out of that, my mindset was completely different. Again, I sweat. So I had like loads of dopamine in my brain. I didn't have intrusive thought anymore at the end. It changed. Actually, I would say that 15 minutes in, everything changed. And so, yes, sometimes we do need to get out of our own way, to be able to see what is in there. And remember, because we are really often scared when we don't see the road ahead. And fear is what makes us panic. And panic is what makes us lose our ground, lose touch with life. And that is the moment, we go into spiral. And so I just wanted to tell you this today. There is this saying that I love so much, is that we say that in nothing there is everything. And I just wanted to dive a bit deeper into that because I love this saying. And I know maybe for some of you, you'll be like, what are you saying? So when you sit in a space where there is absolutely nothing, where it's dark, it's like in one point, you either fight with that or you let go. And so, in the beginning, you might fight and try to find your way and continue to move yourself in vain, to find a way out of this darkness or this void. And then in one point, you stop. You let go. You surrender. And surrender doesn't mean like you're not acting, but you just breathe and you look. And that's where the calm comes within yourself. Because you're like, well, I can't go anywhere. I can only be here. And at the moment you sit with this sense of grace that you can only be here with yourself, you start to really acknowledge where you are. You start to actually see things in a different lens. And then that's where everything appear. Where everything start to make sense. Is where you start to really understand the deepest part of yourself. And this is where you start to be very close to who you are. And fear disappear. And faith and trust come in. Because you reconnect with your root, you ground. And even if there is nothing ahead, you know that now you are here with yourself and that you are real, that everything is here, you can touch, and you're not in a spiral anymore. You have come back to a sense of deep awareness. And that is a magical place. So what I want to say to you, and I remind myself this all the time, every time I get into that space, I have to remind myself, Julie, you need to go back in a space of grounding. And for me, the bush is my reminder. The forest is my reminder. I was at the sea this morning. It was not the same. With the sea, the ocean, I couldn't find a calm. I could feel the panic and the anxiety within me. But when I am in the bush, surrounded by the trees, the green, I'm a Taurus, so I'm an earth girl. Earth woman, I should say. Then that is where I just belong. It is really the place where I belong. Every particle of my being resonates to that space. So whenever you hear this message, I want you to think about where is the place that you feel that you belong. And remember I hear the word reactivate that in your life. To come back to that space where you feel seen, you feel heard, you vibrate in all your senses, and you find peace and calm within yourself. Maybe it's running. Maybe it's exercising. Maybe it's some food that ground you. Maybe it's a place. Maybe it's a reading. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's crafting. Maybe it's singing. It is different for every one of us. And I think reminding ourselves of that and cultivating that in our life is so important, especially in those times. Because if you have followed me for years, I have a YouTube channel in English and I have one in French. So you can always go and I think you can have the voiceover or the translation of what I'm saying. But I love to follow the stars, but I also someone who actually channel and I connect to the energy of everything. And so one thing that have come very clear for the next 20 years is that the way we are doing things is going to change. Everything is going to change. So not only we are going through our own tower arcana, major arcana, the world is going through that tower moment. I think I said towel. I'm so sorry. You have to remind yourself that my first language is French because I'm Belgian. And so I learn English from a dictionary and from listening to people here. So it's been a while I speak English, but I still make mistakes. So sometimes my brain tell me one word and then another word come out of my mouth. And I want this podcast to be raw and authentic. So I'm not going to change who I am. I'm going to be who I need to be here. So what I was saying is that the world is going through this tower moment as we are. And remember that the world is a mirror of what's happening within ourselves. Each experience that we encounter in life is what we still need to heal within ourselves. So come back to the inner wisdom of your soul, because that's where reside all the answer, and that's where you can shift your perspective on the world and what's happening externally to you. So yes, I think I'm going to leave you with this message because I think it's quite powerful. Anyway, I hope it is, and I hope it's giving you some perspective and some insight for your own life. I'm here to share, heart to heart, soul to soul, and it's great to be in that space. So thank you for having me. Thank you for holding the space for me, because as you are listening to me, you take a time to listen to what I have to say, and that is wonderful. And I'm going to leave you here and wish you a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. And I will talk to you soon again. You take care. Bye.